Sana kaso nabala ni May.
Okay. Before tayo mag-start, I'll just, may konti. So in a few minutes, we're going to start the Blue Ribbon Committee investigation into the bridge that collapsed in Isabela. We started out 2 points. Outrage na nangyari to. And outrage bakit walang preventive suspension, walang madalian investigation. In the meantime, nag-imbestiga sila. They took our recommendation. So even before formal recommendation of the committee, yung ating recommendation ni Senator Joel Villanueva sa hearing na magbuo sila ng team, ginawa nila. So they will present that today. But personally, aside from listening to the report bakit bumaksak yung bridge, I will also be focusing on kung may mga defects yung bridge, may mga palpak, paulit-ulit, may mga repair, bakit ang gobyerno pa nagbayad ng repair instead of yung contractor? So parang initially lumalabas, palpak ang pagkagawa or design at kasalanan ng contractor at dapat gawin niya to, binayaran pa ng gobyerno, nag-alat pa ng pera, siya din ang nakakuha ng kontrata, kumita pa siya sa palpak niya. So ito ay worse sa priniprito ka sa sariling mantika, di ba? Prinito ka sa sariling mantika, nagka-problema, dinimanda mo pa yung nagprito sa'yo, kumita ka pa ulit. Di ba? So, having said that, I'll answer questions now or after the hearing, but we're going to look at individual roles of the different officials. And I'm happy that the higher ranking from the Secretary to the head USECs are all here today. So, hopefully, 1 or 2 hearings matapos natin ito. Or maybe the other senators will ask to join after the elections. So we might still have a hearing after the elections. So tomorrow, May 1, is Labor Day. Around the world, either Labor Day or International Workers' Day. Allow me to read the preamble of our Philippine Constitution. No? Sabi ng preamble ng ating Philippine Constitution, and let me emphasize, ito po ang damdamin, aspiration, ito po ang pangarap, panaginip ng bawat Pilipino. We, the sovereign Filipino people, imploring the aid of Almighty God in order to build a just and humane society and establish a government that shall embody our ideals and aspirations, promote the common good, conserve and develop our patrimony, and secure to ourselves and our posterity the blessings of independence and democracy under the rule of law and a regime of truth, justice, freedom, love, equality, and peace, do ordain and promulgate this Constitution. So, nakadescribe dito kung anong klaseng society at gobyerno dapat meron tayo. Ano ang pinag-uusapan natin perennially pagka May 1? Hindi po ito napupunta parati sa minimum wage. Actually, kung titignan mo yung Constitution, ang pinag-uusapan sa Constitution, living wage. Di ba? Kaya, of course, nagpapasalamat ako sa mainstream media because every time maglabas ang NEDA o gobyerno, and I'm not talking about this administration alone, all the administrations, even the administrations I've supported, di ba? Pag naglalabas sila na 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 is enough for one family, di ba? Through you sa media, nag-i-interview kayo, nagre-research kayo, pinapakita na imposible naman ata na isang pamilya ay mabuhay sa minimum wage na yan, di ba? Renta pa lang, tubig, kuryente, wala pang internet, wala pang gamot, wala pang pag-aaral, pamasahe, hindi na kasya yan. So, the Constitution does not talk about a minimum wage, it's about a living wage. So, where does the problem come in? The problem comes in whether it's at the regional wage board, the tripartite board that determines kung magkano yung minimum wage, or sa national or legislative sa atin. Parating sinasabi ng big business na lalo yung micro, small, medium enterprise baka magsara, yung mga nagsisimula pa lang baka magsara. yung mga mag-i-invest sa atin na labor intensive baka lumipat ng bansa pag tinaas mo masyado yung minimum wage. Sasagot naman ang labor ng, kung totoo yun, bakit pataas ng pataas yung profits nyo? So it's an endless debate, di ba? So our problem is not only the solution, but ano ang mekanismo to get to that solution? And when I was meditating about this, praying about this, I realized na ganun din sa edukasyon. From the Philippines being number 2 only to Japan in our region, to going down to the bottom 2, bottom 3 in many things, including economics and education, dalawang commission ang nakatulong sa atin. EDCOM 1, EDCOM 2. Di ba? So kung ang corruption at commission na illegal ang nakasira sa atin, yung commission na totoo, na may commissioners ng nagko-contribute at hindi nangungupit. So yung EDCOM 2, aware kayo dyan kasi panahon na natin yan. Yung EDCOM 1 kay Senator Ed Angara, and even as new congressman, binasa ko yung summary. Malinaw, madali, implement mo, sana naayos, di ba? Nag-K-12, nag-pandemic, lalong gumulo, but kayo mismo nagre-report ng EDCOM 2. So ano ang proposal namin ni Senator Pia, and I'm discussing this also with the Senate President, a Labor Commission or LabCom, di ba? Kung lab natin ang Pilipinas, kung lab natin ang ating laborers, kung gusto natin yung mga OFWs, dumating ang araw, hindi na kailangan mag-abroad, we have to have a labor commission. Anong difference? Instead of a purely congressional labor commission, I propose a legislative executive LabCom. So, 3 commissioners from Congress, 3 commissioners from the Senate, yung cabinet na members na involved, NEDA, DTI, labor, and migrant workers, and then we can get 2 from big business or from the employers, and 1 or 2 from micro, small, medium enterprise, and 2 from the labor sector, di ba? Kasi makikita mo po dun sa EDCOM, so I'm not criticizing ourselves per se, maraming pinapasa ang Senate at House, pero committee hearings natin, dahil 24 lang kami, kahit na major yung bill, 2-3 beses, di ba? Tapos, mag-interpellate a few hours, and then pag na-veto, ulit na naman. Pero yung EDCOM, nakita nyo all throughout the year, every week, 1, 2, 3 meetings, the best minds na nakukuha, di ba? So, nakita nyo nung umpisa nung administrasyon na to, ng Senate na to, hanga ako kay Senator Robin magpatawag ng hearing sa federalism. And he really got best minds na pro and con, di ba? But despite that, walang consensus kung dapat mag-charter change at mag-federalism o hindi. Pero tignan nyo po yung EDCOM. Because we had the right people and it was multisectoral at 3, hindi lang isang senador, we're coming up with solutions na ginagawa na. No? And so, later on, I'm also looking into an EDCOM 3 na kung saan kung pwede legislative executive na. Kasi 2 sa 3 ngayon, CHED, DepEd, and TESDA. So, ang Director General ng TESDA at ang head ng DepEd were senators and congressmen and were active sa EDCOM, di ba? So, CHED. So, I'll go to that later on. Baka after the election, we can discuss that. But, dito ko nahugot yung idea ng Labor Com na one final statement. If you say na, sir, okay naman yung tripartite, sir, tumataas naman yung living wage, okay. Pero bakit yung standard ng living sa ibang bansa, naayos nila? Bakit sa Japan, for example, hindi mahirap ang taxi driver, ha? May sariling bahay, nakakabakasyon. Pag tinanong mo yung taxi driver, for example, sa Singapore, saan ka nagbabakasyon, sasabihin sa iyo, Thailand, Germany, Sweden, di ba? So, but sa atin, hindi makapagbakasyon ng 2-3 araw kasi isang kahig, isang tuka. So, yes, it's not all living wage. It's also magkano tubig, kuryente, may internet ba, may education, health. But the living wage is a big part of it. So, I'll stop there, but yan ang sanang maliit na contribution namin ni Senator Pia and myself and tulong ko kay SP sa administrasyon niya sa Labor Day. No? Na It's not a solution. So I agree, kung may mag-criticize tomorrow, boss, hindi solusyon yan, hindi makakain yung sinabi mo. Pero ang problema nga, paikot-ikot na lang tayo eh. Parati na lang pag Labor Day, o anong malilibre ba natin MRT, LRT, may announce ba tayo na bonus, ganyan. Pero yung main issue of a living wage, we've never gotten to it eh, no? And the EDCOM really inspired me, the people there, I mean, whether you talk about Senator Win, Senator Joel, Senator Chi, Senator Pia, who was part of it. But I'm talking about the staff and the private sector group na kinuha nila. Amazing yung ginagawa. So hopefully sa labor magawa natin. Ma'am.
Sir, given kunwari magkaroon ng labor commission na gusto nyo, na pinopropose nyo, what happens to the legislated wage hike? Magkakaroon pa rin po ba? At magkano po, sir, yung living wage?
Kasi yun nga ang problema dun sa legislative wage hike. Hindi magkaroon ng consensus o mapasa ng House, hindi mapasa ng Senate, mapasa ng Senate, hindi magpasa ng House. Sino naman ang pumasa ng mataas, ina-accuse nung kabilang House, nagpapabango lang kayo sa labor pero hindi naman kaya yon. Then when you talk to the business sector, they talk in general. In general, hindi kakayanin ang ganito, di ba? So the Labor Com will not talk in generalities. It will come out industry specific. Magkano talaga ang sahod sa Japan, sa Thailand, sa Vietnam? Bakit ang Vietnam nagawa to? But that's why I included NEDA and DTI. Kasi, for example, sabi mo yung living wage, kasama dapat sa living wage mo is education ng mga anak mo, health ng buong pamilya. Pero kung maayos naman natin ang PhilHealth at tunay na zero billing, hindi ka naman dapat gumastos na sa wage mo. So I do agree that when you talk about the living wage, hindi lang natin pinag-uusapan yung employer at yung employee. But ganun din, for example, man, di ba, sa atin, sabi nila, di ba, yung Chinese Filipino, but around the world, even the Indian descent, tayo lang yung ano trabaho eh, sila ano negosyo eh. Di ba? But in those countries where they ask ano negosyo, meron silang matatap na kapital eh, pwedeng mangutang eh. Eh sa atin kasi yung utang 5-6 eh. Di ba? Mabuti pa yung Phil-Chi na Filipinos, yung Filipino-Chinese. Kapag kapwa ka Filipino-Chinese, may scholarship, may utang, kung halimbawa, Filipino-Chinese ka, sumali ka sa grupo nila, nagbebenta ka ng bottled water, yung isang nila supplier, hindi Filipino-Chinese, pag sinabing, ipantay mo na lang, I'll give you an opportunity. So, walang government program, or at least hindi effective, kung saan yung small entrepreneur. So, ngayon, lahat nasa ayuda na eh. Di ba? So, you have 600 billion in ayuda, but you don't have much projects. Halimbawa, paano yung kalenderya maging restaurant? Or paano yung sari-sari store maging mom and pops or maging 7-Eleven, di ba? So, the living wage is more than just magkano yung sweldo. It's a comprehensive look at ano ang gastos ng bawat pamilya, di ba?
Sir, sorry, isa na lang po. So you're still pushing for a legislated wage hike.
Yes.
So ang role ng Labor Commission will supply specific data to Congress? Ganun po ba?
We'll come out with a consensus of ano talaga ang living wage and ano naman ang part ng empleyado, anong part ng business sector at anong part ng gobyerno dun sa mga part na hindi dapat sa wages mo nang kunin. 'Di ba? So kahit sabihin ko sa iyo 2,000 per day. Kung ikaw magbabayad nung tuition ng anak mo, kung lahat ng health services, pati bakuna, hindi libre, kung ma-hospitalize si lola, ikaw magbabayad o may maintenance, di ba? Pero dun nga pumapasok ang DTI at saka NEDA na, sige, kung ito ang kaya ng business, ito ang kailangan, ano yung support ng gobyerno para nga may living wage ka talaga. And the other thing is to come up with a real living wage. Kasi yung nilalabas ng NEDA parate, it's unrealistic, di ba? I mean, ilan sa inyo nag-interviewed people or with activist groups, di ba? Gagawin nyo yung sinabi nilang amount. Pag sinabi lang 12,000, bibili kayo ng grocery o bibili kayo ng bigas, hindi talaga kasya eh, di ba? But again, as I said, hindi naman tayo na type of society na cold-hearted capitalist na kung saan yung wage mo lahat ikaw na. May mga factors doon, 'di ba? So kaya yung presyo ng kuryente, presyo ng tubig, yung ngayon nga hindi pa presyo ng internet pinag-uusapan, yung quality, 'di ba? Kasi realistically, kung maganda internet sa iyo, may e-commerce, may e-consulta sa health, yung education, katulad ngayon, sobrang init. Pero pag sinabi mong ano muna, sa bahay muna kayo, internet, karamihan naman ng mga bata, hindi rin makafocus sa bahay. Wala ring internet, wala ring gadget, di ba? So the labor com will be more comprehensive, di ba?
Sir, how do you tend to pursue this initiative?
A bill. I'll file the bill on Monday. Kinoconsult ko lang kung sinong gusto sumama. But si Senator Pia, nagpalitan kami ng ideas yesterday. But yung inspiration ko talaga yung success ng EDCOM. Ang kaibahan lang sa EDCOM, it's a congressional commission. I want an executive legislative. Kasi kahit anong ganda ng proposal natin, pag ayaw ng executive, ipa-veto sa Pangulo. So, wala rin mangyayari. But if everyone na agrees, so if the Labor Com agrees, eto ang amount, each Filipino should be getting, let's say, 25,000, 30,000 a month. But ang obligasyon ng gobyerno, eto, may student loan, may free ganito, sa health, dapat may ganito, etc. So, dapat yung amount na sinabi na yung kasya. Kasi pag ikaw naman laborer, di ba, wala naman diferensya sa iyo ang 20 at 50,000. Kung yung 30,000 na yun, may sasagot. Diba? So kung ang gastos mo sa gamot a month is 5,000. Pag sinabi ng employer, I won't give you the 5,000 but sagot ko yung gamot. Or sabihin ng gobyerno, hindi namin i-increase pero yung 5,000 na yan, sagot nung ano. Diba? So that's one aspect of it, yung need. Of course, there's another aspect, yung mobility mo, yung career mo. Diba? Hindi naman pwede pagka blue collar ka sa ating bansa, parati kang lower class, parati kang saling pusa. That's what I'm saying. Bakit sa ibang bansa, ang chef, ang waiter, chef naman sumikat lahat ngayon, but I'm talking about basic cooks, di ba? Yung accountants na hindi tapos ng accountancy pero nagpapatakbo ng small business, taxi driver. Bakit sa ibang bansa, they have a decent house, nakakapag-aral yung mga anak, hindi sila isang kahig, isang tuka. Bakit sa atin, isang kahig, isang tuka sila? Di ba?
Sir, hindi kaya maging duplication ng trabaho ng DOLE and then yung binanggit nyo, the regional wage boards?
Ang problema nga, walang nangyayari. I mean, 30 years na ako nasa politika since 98. So, 27 years na ako sa Congress. Nagkaroon ba ng tunay na living wage? Hindi. Ganun din. Tignan mo lahat ng major changes natin sa education except K-12 na it's a major good change but it's also a major headache and problem. But most of the reforms came from EDCOM 1 and 2. Kasi iba talaga yung hindi lang congressman at senador at hindi yung nagdedebate yung Malacanang at saka yung yung Congress. Iba yung magkasama tapos may consensus na doon. So if the 3 congressmen, 3 senators, 6 people from small businesses, labor, and then the 3 or 4 cabinet members agree, basically, yun na yung BICAM mo eh. Di ba? Meron ka na. So, we might not all agree sa amount that they come up with, pero at least may movement. So, like right now, kung hahatiin ko kayo, sige, debate tayo kung kayang additional 200, 300, or additional 500. Half of you will say kaya, half of you will say hindi. Pero when I say, sige, sinong may kaya o hindi? Kaya ba ng mga 7-Eleven or magsasara yun? O kaya ba ng San Miguel Corporation? Kaya ba ng Meralco? So may debate tayo eh. Pag sinabi mong hindi kaya ng Meralco, sandali lang, kakasabi mo lang, better first quarter, 10%, billion ng ano. O, pag sinabi mo namang hindi kaya ng mga 7-Eleven, malay ko ba kung ano yung nila, yung labor cost nila, di ba?
Sir, other issue. Nag-participate kayo actively dun sa investigation ng Committee on Foreign Relations tungkol sa pag-aresto kay former President Duterte. Are you convinced dun sa findings na it is politically motivated and then dun sa recommendation na imbestigahan ng Ombudsman ang ilang executive officials including DOJ Secretary, DILG Secretary, and others?
Honestly, I'm still reviewing. Media reports pa lang, hindi ko pa nakikita yung report. May sarili ako mga observation, but as I told you, I want to remain independent in the sense na tama-tama, mali-mali, and not partisan. But ang main focus at concern ko ngayon is maging malinaw na kahit sinong Pilipino, yan man ay nasa progressive group na kaliwa, yan man ay nasa kanan, katulad nila Senator Bato, ay hindi pwedeng basta't pick upin at i-export. Kasi mag-export ka nga ng goods sa Pilipinas, may permit ka pa eh. May dadaanan ka pa eh. Pero ang Pilipino, pag in-export mo, pwedeng ganun na lang. Yun ang main concern ko. Kung magkakakonsensus, yung sinasabi kasing hintayin natin Supreme Court, yes, in far as that is the law. But the government can make a policy decision. The executive can say na, from now on, pag any international group ay gusto nilang padala sa kanilang bansa, ay kailangan dumaan muna sa local court, i-validate yung warrant, tignan kung may probable cause, kung crime dito din yung crime na sinasabi nila. Yun ang mas focus ko ngayon. But give me a few days to read the report and to look into all of it. I mean, I made my views naman known. I just want to be more judicious sa words ko. And but you know naman how I feel. But it's not a matter of how I feel. It's really about himayin nga yung batas. And personally sa akin, yun nag-udyok sa akin magsalita eh. Nung nakita kong nasa airplano at hindi pa nagte-take off yung airplano, I was hoping that if enough of us spoke, mahimasmasan yung gobyerno na hindi po pwedeng i-export ang Pilipino. Isakay doon at kailangan may chance siyang pumunta ng korte. So right now, yun ang focus ko kasi katulad ni dating Senator De Lima, di ba, pagka may kaaway, ang sinasabi lang, Bato, dapat kasama ka dyan. Alan, kadibati, dapat kasama kita dyan. So, para bang tinatakot kami na anytime pwede kami isama tapos i-export, di ba? So,
Sir, last na lang, nababahala ka ba dun sa ibinulgar na nakikialam ang China dito sa incoming election?
yes. Yes and no. Yes, because we have a real issue in the West Philippine Sea. And yes, because our economy, our tourism, etc., nababahala ko kung may kahit sinong nakikialam, nababahala din ako. I'm also concerned about our relationship. Because the reality is, for example, the United States many times have been found spying on their friends, whether it's the French or UK, di ba? So, and we all know na meron din sa Western nakikialam sa eleksyon natin. So, nababahala lang ako na it's being addressed through the media rather than being addressed. Kasi kung lalabas lahat ng nakikialam sa atin, let's say there are 5 countries nakikialam, pag lahat yan ay nagkaroon tayo ng problema sa diplomacy, mas mabigat kasi ekonomiya natin kabuhayan. Pag hindi mo naman in-address, katawa-tawa naman tayo na pinapakailaman yung eleksyon natin. But even the most powerful country in the world, US, has many investigations ongoing ng pakikialam sa kanila. And it's easier ngayon makialam. Bakit? May social media. Nung araw kasi walang social media, para makialam ka, bibigay ka ng pera sa kandidato, di ba? Pupunta ka doon, magpapadala ka ng consultants, may mga events na gagawin. Ngayon kasi, even through social media, even through spreading propaganda, pwede. So that's a reality we also have to live with, di ba? So, nababahala ako in 2 fronts. One, that we're dealing with, that meron nakikialam, kung meron man, but meron yan sigurado, not just the Chinese. And number 2, nababahala ako na hindi yan yung way na i-address. There are ways na high level, whether president to president or sa diplomacy to do that, di ba?
Sir,
But I thank Senator Tolentino and of course you for reporting and coming out kasi we have to be aware. That's why, by the way, ano ang best protection natin sa nakikialam? Kahit ano mabasa nyo, i-Google, i-AI, i-research nyo. Di ba? Ako, pag sinabi ko sa inyo, guys, I feel good today, it's my birthday, I'm 40 years old. Don't take it for, di ba? I-Google nyo. Pag nakita, 54 ka na eh. Sabihin ko lang, I just feel 40. Di ba? Hindi, di ba? Totoo naman eh. Sa sobrang daling mag-research ngayon, hindi dapat tayo tamarin na i-research yon. Of course, may mga bagay na hindi na-research. Di ba? Pag sinabi mo halimbawa na ang military galit na. 200,000 ang nasa military, paano mo alam kung galit na o hindi? Di ba? Pero yung pag sinabi mong baksak ang ating turismo, kalahati na lang ngayon ang tourist, madaling i-research yun. So, wag tayong basta't maniwala yung i-research din natin. Both sides to, both sides to. I'm not talking politics, I'm talking reality.
Sir, last
Sir,
na
ingi lang.
project ng DA na implement ang 20 pesos na kailangan. Akala ko dun mong gagaling, tapos patabi pala.
Dalawa pa nga yung mic ko. Oh.
20 pesos na bigay.
Sige, last 2 para...
Sabi ng comment Miguel, kasi baka mapolitika, magamit sa pamumulitika.
Well, two things, no. Any project na mabuti sa tao pero controversial, susundin ko yung logo ng Nike o yung motto niya, just do it. Kung maganda, kung alam mong maganda. Having said that, during election period, mas makapangyarihan sa presidente ang COMELEC. So kahit ano sabihin natin, sumunod tayo kung desisyon. Kung advice, then advice is, 'di ba, yung parang tingin ko ganito, kung opinion. Pero kung yan ay utos ng COMELEC, wala tayong choice. Having said that, maraming proposals na controversial, pero kung tingin natin mabuti, listen to the criticisms, try to adjust, but just do it. Kung mabuti sa tao. Last question.
Sir,
Dito na talaga ako titingin. Oh.
sir, yung ano lang, in line dito sa question ni Mami Selly, yung meron daw na huling alleged Chinese spy dun sa COMELEC kahapon, is it a cause of concern na rin?
What's the other question sa likod? Para sabay ko na. Okay. So, nagsuspy ka sa kanya, no? Paano mo alam na same question ng ano? Yeah. Two sides of the same coin. 'Di ba sa bawat coin or nung bata tayo, tao o ibon, 'di ba? Kasi nga, it's the same coin but has two sides. One of the side is in reality, whether you call it CIA, KGB, ano ba yung mga bago ngayon, Mossad, or yung iba ang tawag na nila Department of Research. Pero actually intelligence 'yan, 'di ba? So whether it's civilian or military intelligence, let's face the reality that in this world, everyone is researching everyone. Very tricky lang where intelligence becomes espionage. Kasi ano yung kinukuha mo lang yung tama para pagka nangligaw ka or may negotiation kayo, may enough information ka. So for example, if we have people in the US now na nagre-research ano pa talaga ang gusto ni President Trump sa tariff, that's to enable our two negotiators to get the best deal sa trade talks, di ba, sa tariff. Pero yung espionage, yung state secrets, and you mean them harm. So, ibang usapan na talaga yon. So, one side of the coin is that let's realize that's going there. The other side of the coin is yung counterintelligence. So, many countries do not have their counterpart of Mossad and CIA, but they have a group that is counterintelligence. How do you protect your country, your secrets, your diplomatic approaches? So, yes, nakakabahala, but it's mas nakakabahala na alam naman natin nangyayari yan for the last, 20 years, nag-heighten lang ngayon. What are we doing about it? Are we forming a real Iba yung Iba yung intelligence sa counterintelligence. Magkahiwalay dapat na grupo yon. So I know for a fact that the President and DICT is doing something about hacking and scamming. But counterintelligence, ibalik ko ngayon sa security cluster sa Malacanang. Okay, kaliwat kanan yung accusations ng spying, not only by our allies, not only by our friends who have interest against us, but also those who claim na pareho tayo ng interest. So, ang question, what are we doing about counterintelligence? Okay, thank you.
Sir, patanong lang ni Mav, ano daw, update daw sa new Senate building.
So, pumirma, I think si Senate President announced naman sa inyo sa pinirmahan niya. Let me try kung nandito si Senate President next week. Let me try kung mag-ano yung schedule, doon tayo pumasyal, doon tayo mag-briefing. But I just want you to know na full steam ahead, hindi madidelay, and binababa yung presyo. So we're doing some, how do I put it, exercising some prudence and wisdom kung paanong gagawin. But yung how, yung parts ng bidding, ano nina-negotiate, ano magiging itsura, let me just get his schedule next week kasi I think he's in Sorsogon today, then tomorrow, holiday eh. So, kahit mangako sa inyo Friday, malabo, ayoko mangako ng hindi totoo. So, but next week, I'll be around naman. Hindi naman ako kandidato, hindi rin naman kandidato si SP. Let's try next week, di ba, na ipakita. But kung hindi man, I'll just give you a one-pager so that you know the direction. But we're preparing all the reports. Remember, this started then with President Lacson being Senator Lacson. Na-promote ko na. Senator Lacson being chair. So we owe it to both Senator Lacson and Senator Nancy na transparent at makita nila yung direction at yung findings. But i-remind ko ulit kayo, ang trabaho namin, how to have the best Senate building at the soonest possible time at the least cost. 'Di ba? Best quality, least cost, fast time. Hindi ko trabaho in this committee to look for anomalies. Pang blue ribbon 'yon or hindi 'yun yung trabaho ko. But my report will be factual. Oo. So actually 3/4 ng report gawa na. Oo. Okay? Thank you.